Hello, my friends. In today's episode, I'm speaking with former MFF trainer Molly Jackson. She's now the co-owner of the Strength House Gym in Philadelphia, and we're talking about how she is building a community-centered gym from the ground up. Just 4 months into opening her gym, she shares all of her best tips for engaging her local community. So if you want to engage your local community more in building your gym, this is an episode for you. So let's dive in. Hello, fitness business nerds. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Business for Unicorns podcast. And today I'm so friggin' stoked to be here with fellow MFFer, well, former MFFer, sad face, Molly Jackson, who is now the co-owner of the Strength House in Philadelphia. Welcome to the podcast, Molly.
Hello, it's so nice to be here.
Oh my gosh, what a treat. I'm so excited to introduce you to the Business of Unicorns community. And I was so sad to add the word former in front of MFFer. It made me have a small tear.
Always in my heart, though. Always MFFer in my heart. Yeah. And my loins.
Yes, in all the places that matter most, always an MFFer. Yeah. Well, thank you again for being on the podcast today. I'm so excited to share your energy and passion and loving weirdness with the world. And so let's dive in. And I would just love for you to introduce yourself to our audience, just a little bit about your background in fitness, how long you're MFF and how you found yourself now co-owning a strength and conditioning gym in East Passaic, Philadelphia. So yes. give us the bio.
Great. A little bio about me. So I started out, like many of us in this world, I started out as a dancer and performer. Did that for a long time. And then I started to get into the dance fitness portion of, fitness world. And that was back when I lived in Philadelphia. And I did that for a little while, moved to New York to pursue dance. And I started teaching at a local gym. And I liked it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I started to just kind of learn a little bit more. I took on my first personal training client, and I just started to learn more about it, get my certs. And once I finally had my personal training cert, Mark Fisher Fitness came into my world. So MFF was sort of like my first real big girl fitness job. And I was there with you guys for 4 years, which is crazy. So I was there for 4 years, and it was, when I joined, the staff was just absolutely incredible, and I learned so much. And little cardio queen fitness Molly started to grow and grow, and I learned about actually weight training, and I started to feel super empowered with it. And for me personally, I've always struggled with headaches and movement-based headaches and things like that. And so I was kind of coming out of dance a little bit. I was feeling a little sad that it didn't necessarily work well with my body. And I thought that strength training didn't either, because I just assumed. But then I started lifting weights. And I was like, holy moly, I feel so empowered. This feels so incredible in my body. I want to learn about this. Yeah. And I just started to learn how it can be really creative also. So I was with MFF for 4 years, and I started to find my creative voice there. I started to figure out who I actually was in this world, and that I don't have to be like a beefcake bro to be in the fitness world. And then lockdown happened.
And you're with us for Homebody teaching classes online. Yep.
Exactly. And during the lockdown, as many of us were, I was deeply depressed and just needing something to connect with. So I started really picking up my kettlebells because it was a thing that I had in my room. It was a thing that I could do outside with people and not be near people. And all you needed was this one thing, and you could do so much. So during lockdown, I just really, really started to find my voice and just joy when I was slinging these iron balls. And that led me to look into kettlebell certifications and just really start to learn what just the serious technique behind it. And it connected with me so much. So I got my RKC cert, and I just started connecting with that community more, and I got to be friends with all of these amazing people in this kettlebell world. And my partner John, he also sort of started that kettlebell journey along the same time as me, so we sort of have a similar timeline. He didn't start as a dancer. He was like a runner, and he was just like, let me just run all the time. Then he was like, I think I want to be stronger than that. I want to get big muscles. So we both started just like feeling a love for it at the same time, and feeling really empowered by it. And during a time in history when it was really hard to feel empowered, and when it was really
Hmm.
hard to feel strong and connected to yourself. Um, and so he was with a big gym, and I was still with MFF, but like virtual mostly. And I was just trying to finding my footing and just trying to figure out what felt good to me. And then the plan was to eventually move back to Philly, but I wasn't sure when. And so John and I just started talking about it, and he's connected with this Muay Thai gym here, and he started teaching like the kettlebells there. Um, and we were like, I think that we both have exactly the same idea of the sort of place we would want to open up. We have this idea about what we want to bring into this world. And why don't we actually try to do
Let's do it.
that?
Boom.
Yeah,
And so you're doing it.
exactly.
It
And
happened.
so
When
we're
did
doing
when did you
it
officially open again?
in January. So we're
Wow.
going into month 4 now. So it's still a little baby.
Wow.
Yeah, an amazing
Congratulations.
baby. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, it's fantastic. And the fact that you're in, for those of you who don't know Philadelphia, East Passyunk is a really beautiful, kind of community oriented, family oriented part of kind of South Philly. I guess it's
Hmm.
technically South Philly. Um, and so, yeah, great location. Good for you. That's so
Yeah.
exciting. So, I mean, so let's dive in and just talk more about what you've been learning recently. What lessons you
Hmm.
been learned? I mean, only 4 months in, but you and your partner John have been been in this industry for a while. So it's not like you're newbies.
Hmm.
And when I asked you before we started recording, like, what have you been learning about recently? What lessons have been coming up? The first thing you said was that you've really been trying to find your voice as a
Yeah.
trainer, right? And because of everything you just mentioned here, being a dancer first, coming into MFF and learning the MFF world, letting your freak flag fly for four
Yeah.
freaking years, yeah, and then really embracing kettlebells recently. And it's amazing that you've been in the industry this long, and I think it's a very normal experience to want to reinvent yourself, rediscover
Yeah.
yourself. So you just talk a little bit about how have you been trying to find your voice as a trainer lately? What have you been doing to discover that?
Totally. So at our gym we have 5 of us on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and we all come from different backgrounds. And John and I, we just really we think that there's no one thing that you need to be doing. And like any trainer who says that like this is the only thing you can do, or like this is the only thing that will get you a certain way, it is, pardon my French, bullshit. It's a little
Bullshit. Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
um, so we wanted to create a space that was a place where coaches that we trusted could come, and we could give them an opportunity. Like, their class time is their class time. Who are you as a trainer? And so we're applying that to ourselves. When I came in on this team, I was nervous because John, I feel like I'm intimidated by him, which he thinks is crazy. But he just has a different type of knowledge than I do. He has a different type of teaching than I do, a different type of like connecting with his clients. And so I had never, even though I worked at MFF and I felt like so comfortable and so confident there, I started to realize towards the end of it that that wasn't completely my voice, like that
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to give to my clients. It was a voice, and I
Yep.
loved that voice, but it wasn't completely my voice.
Yep.
And then I started working with these other kettlebell people who were like real, like beefy and serious about it, and that's where I got a lot of my strength, a lot of my technique, but it still wasn't my voice.
Yeah.
It was a little too straight for me.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And so we came into Strength House, and John was like, I want you to be who you are. And it kind of freaked me out for a second. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I know who I am, but I actually haven't fully taught fully kettlebell classes, like kettlebell strength and conditioning classes that are completely designed by me all the time.
Yep.
At MFF, it would be like the programming team, and then I would teach that. And so I wasn't necessarily programming every single time I taught and teaching every single time I taught, or teaching, my own programming every time I taught. But now I have this opportunity to do that. And it was intimidating at first because
Of
I was like,
course.
what if my voice is
Of course.
not something that people are going to like or connect with? But it's been this wonderful opportunity for me to actually trust my knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
trust my all of the education that I've done, and just trust what feels good on my body. And like having this moment where I can teach what feels empowering on my body.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously thinking about my clients when I'm doing that, but it's this moment that I've never had before where my voice is the voice people want,
Yeah.
like completely my voice. And what is that voice and how, and I can actually find that
Mm-hmm.
now,
Yeah.
like fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you, my friend. I think there's so many
Yeah.
things I love about this conversation. One is I imagine there's a lot of people listening who are in your shoes, and it really helps
Hmm.
normalize for them. No matter how long you've been in this industry, there's
Yeah.
still more to discover about yourself, about what you like and don't like, what your voice is, how you connect with your clients, the kind of knowledge, how you embrace and embody your own knowledge and confidence, right?
Big
That's
time.
an evolving thing. And one of the things that I've always admired about you, and this is just another example of it, is your ability to kind of use yourself as an instrument of learning. Right, that
Big
you
time.
were not
Yeah.
afraid to like experiment on and with yourself
Yeah.
about what do I like, what do I don't like, using like how I feel about that experience as data to
Yeah.
improve and change. And so I think you're just such a great role model in that way, for people to
Thank you.
live this kind of embodied experience, because it makes a difference. I think the kind of
Yeah.
confidence you get by being kind of fully present in your body as a trainer is a different kind of experience and a different kind of confidence, and your clients feel the difference. There's an
Yeah.
authenticity there when you really can be grounded in your own self and your own identity, and you're such a great example of that, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's a constant thing to learn.
Yeah.
Like I'm not at this finish line. There's no finish
No,
line.
no.
You know, you keep learning and you keep changing, and it's been really great to do that, especially in this world. I feel like every time I look on the internet, it's another trainer being like, "You have to do this," or like, "This is the only way," or "This is superior to that." And John and I, like in most of our classes, we like can't help but get on this little soapbox that's
Yeah,
like, all we care about is that you're moving.
yeah,
You're moving your body. Who cares if you're doing yoga? Who cares if you're doing Zumba? Like,
yeah,
do anything that feels good and connects with your body. And that's great that all the people who come to our gym feel that connection with us.
yeah,
But like, we're always like, if you don't, we'll get you somewhere where you want to be. Like, tell us that like this maybe isn't the thing that you want, and we'll direct you there. Like, we
yeah.
know everyone in Philly will help you find
We'll
your
find
place.
you your home. Yeah,
Yeah.
good for you. I think it's such a attitude of abundance, of generosity, right? That we need more of in
Yeah.
this industry. Did I hear your puppy
Yeah.
in the background being sad that you're not giving him any
Yeah. I
attention? Yeah,
know.
I was
Yeah.
like, someone wants attention. It's not getting it.
I know. I felt that maybe he would be okay on the bed, but I didn't want to take any chances. I do have two cats in the window, though.
They're fine. That
Yeah.
cats don't need us. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
well, let's switch topics here, because I think another thing that I know that you and John, as co-owners of this new gym, really give a shit a lot about is creating community, right? I mean, not only are
Oh,
you
big time.
embedded in a community that has a really strong identity in Philadelphia, but you're also wanting to create your own community at the gym. That's something I know you have experience with at MFF, because that was a big focus for us. And so can you just
Mhm.
talk, because I think there's a lot of listeners out there who are constantly wanting to invest in and help grow their community. So can you talk a little bit about what that means to you and John, and how you're going about
Yeah.
forming community in your new gym?
Yeah, of course. So, one of the big things that helped us was that we partnered with another gym to open our facility.
Great.
So, um, Strength House is partnered with a Muay Thai gym called Juniper
Mm-hmm.
Muay Thai. Amazing if you're in Philadelphia. Go check them out if you want to feel like the most empowered you've ever felt in your entire life.
Yeah.
But this Muay Thai community um, was just all of these people who just want to feel really strong and are like pretty alternative, are queer, are kind of punk rock,
Mm-hmm.
and those specific types of people are never targeted.
Yep.
Like I feel like, you know, we've got our like super queer spaces, we've got our bodybuilding spaces, we've got, you know, our female empowerment spaces, we've got these spaces, but this community that's sort of overlooked because maybe we assume that you don't want to work out is this sort of
Mm-hmm.
punk rock,
Yeah.
all like community of people who don't really have like a specific like shtick to their personality. It's just like
Yeah.
these normal people who they're not obsessed with fitness. They just want to do it. And they're not like obsessed with the community in a way that like it's going to become like a complete like part of their personality. They just want to be there. They want to be with friends. They don't want to feel judged. They want to come in, um, looking a little crazy. They just got a big tattoo. They,
Yep.
who
Yep.
knows? And they want to come into this
Still a little
space and,
smudged eyeliner from last night,
yeah,
like that's the vibe. Yeah.
and that's sort of who John and I are,
Mm-hmm.
just because of our backgrounds. Like John's been in the restaurant industry and the music industry for so long. And I've also kind of been in this more alternative space, and we've never found a place that completely fits us and completely fits that. And so we're targeting the places that we like to go to. And we're not thinking about like, we're not trying to target a group that we're not like familiar with.
Sure.
We're trying to target these groups that we're familiar with because we know that people don't necessarily think about them. Like we're going to bars and we're talking to the bartenders because we know how hard that is on your body, and we know what it's like to be in the service industry and like, have to deal with that all
late
the time.
hours and all the kinds of food that's around you and the late night eats and the standing up and carrying
customers.
things. Yeah. The stress of
and
customers.
The snaps. Yeah. Excuse me. It's like,
yep.
Yeah. So like we're trying to sort of move more into that community by offering a service industry discount. Like a lot of people, I support almost every profession. I'm not going to say every profession, but almost every profession. And I feel like a lot of the same groups are sort of targeted as like, we're going to give you a discount because we know you work hard, but we're like, we know that y'all who work at bars also work really hard. So we're taking our knowledge from all of our past lives, because John and I have had so many different past lives, and we're targeting those people. Yeah. So that's how we're doing it. We're reaching out to our roots. We're reaching out to our neighbors and like really going around the neighborhood around us and being like, hey, we're here. We're like, we would love for you to come because we know that you're our neighbor, and maybe lifting a kettlebell will help you lift that keg at the end of the night.
Yeah. Good for you. I love that. I love that. The first thing you said is that you partner with another studio, right? A Muay Thai studio to open. So you're already kind of embedding yourself in existing community, which I think is so powerful. And, that was part of our shtick at Mark Fisher Fitness, right? Part of our strategy was kind of to embed ourselves in the Broadway community that was already there in Midtown. And so what's helpful about that is that you already, from day one, have a group of people around you who are there to support you and help you grow, which is so beautiful.
And who are rooting for you.
100%. Just even if they're just a cheering squad, but they're already more than that because they're talking about you, and they can know you personally more easily because their friends already know you. And so the embedding yourself in a community, I think, is a really underrated way to open a gym. So bravo.
And not like, you don't have to do it all on your own.
No,
you can
there are already communities out there, right, that you already can belong to, right? And so and the fact that you and John are also creating this gym, based out of your own experiences in life. We've been servers. Let's work with servers. We've been this. Let's work with this, right? And focusing on a demographic that's not often called in to fitness spaces. It's going to be think of. I forget. Did you overlap much with Coach Fury at MFF? I forget.
No, we missed each other. I know him.
Yeah, I was going to say you know each other, but you didn't really overlap at MFF. But it makes me think of his gym. He has a gym called Speakeasy in Brooklyn, right? And he's totally going after kind of punk folks who he's obsessed with Godzilla. He's got Godzilla posters on the wall, right? I mean,
like the nerds.
Yeah, the nerds of the world who are not not really often have places to call them their own. And to your point, are not the ones who are going to be like obsessed and make fitness a big part of their persona or personality, but they want a place to feel not judged and that they can work on themselves. So bravo to you. I think that's huge. Yeah.
And like along with that whole like, I don't know, like targeting kind of like the nerds of the world, like we want them to feel empowered. We want you to feel empowered. We are, as soon as you walk in the door, we tell you you're strong. You're not gonna you're gonna get stronger, but as soon as you walk in the door, you're strong. And we just unapologetically want everyone to be as badass as possible, and we want people to be gritty. We're not gonna if something is uncomfortable, we'll be like, is it uncomfortable in a way that like feels dangerous, or is it just uncomfy?
Yeah.
And if it's just uncomfy,
We're going to keep going.
let's get through it.
Yeah,
Let's get through
yeah,
it.
totally. Well, I think that, and one of the great lessons in all of this you shared so far with, for our listeners, right, is, go look in other spaces for people who might need a place to belong at your gym, right? Don't always look in the same places of people who are already fitness enthusiasts, who are already,
Big time.
gym members, right? Look in places where the people have not walked into a gym ever or in a decade,
Yeah,
or,
big
and I think
time.
there's more people, there's more Americans that fit that description than the other. Well, let's get to our final topic here. I have one more thing I want to talk about, which is, we kind of already started talking about it actually, but your big push in trying to grow your gym has really been trying to do it from like a local grassroots level.
Mhm.
And this is very common. This is very true how MFF started. We didn't do really any paid digital advertising for years. We tried to grow
Yeah.
local, grassroots, word of mouth, referrals. And so you just talk a little bit about, and I think this is a great way to start, because at the very beginning, you don't have a big budget. In the very beginning,
Mhm.
you don't have the capacity to be on the floor all the time and also spend hours per week running ads, doing all the things that are required once you're running ads.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but you might have the capacity to be walking around your neighborhood and shaking hands and kissing babies and, all the
Yeah.
grassroots stuff. And so can you talk a little bit about how have you all gone about trying to build your business kind of in the local community so far?
So I actually got a lot of ideas from being an
Sure.
MFF. Like,
Sure.
thank you so much
Yeah.
for feeding my brain with so many things throughout the years. Yeah, like we're doing March. We were doing a referral program
Hmm.
all month long. So you bring a friend, you drop their name, they drop your name, you both get like a major discount, and that can like you can do that as many times as you want throughout the month. We have a community class that is a
Hmm.
huge thing that was actually the start of Strength House. John got furloughed in his job in 2020 for just a month.
Mm.
And he started this outdoor sort of like grassroots adventure where he would just lug a bunch of kettlebells to a park and put it on social media and be like, come do fitness. And
Great.
it grew and it won Best of Philly in like
Wow.
2022. It was amazing. And he just was just like, just come do it. Sorry, I got too
So
excited. I
excited.
knocked my water over. Um, but he was like, uh, uh, he was basically like, I think that everyone should have access to it, so I'm not going to make it expensive.
Hmm.
So it was a pay what you can sort of thing throughout, the whole start before we got our brick and mortar, and we keep that forever. We're every single Sunday, $5 class at 11:30, and then people come in, and a lot of people sign up through that. They're just like, okay, I know it's a
Hmm.
little more expensive to come to your gym, and we know that. And so we want to make it accessible for everyone. And so we will always, forever and ever and ever, offer this class that can be accessible to pretty much anyone. And if it's not accessible to you, we'll figure out how to make it accessible. And so I think like a lot of people were scared to, drop the money for a regular class or drop the money for a 5-pack class because, I feel it. It's sometimes
Hmm.
you don't want to drop that loot, but then they come in, they get this experience, they see how empowering and how fun it is at this $5 class, and then they sign up. And we're also uh, just going around the neighborhood with like stickers in our pocket. We
Hmm.
go to a bar, we sit at the bar, we make friends with the bartender, and they take a sticker and they slap it on their
Hmm.
cash register
Yep.
or, um, yeah, things like that. Just going around the community, like authentically talking to people, not like coming in as salespeople, just coming in as humans,
Yeah.
um, and trying to connect like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think those are all such great ideas, and I love the idea of a community class, like an ongoing
Yeah.
community class, same time, same place, pay what you can, or super cheap. That also just speaks to just accessibility and showing that that
Yeah.
you're a place for the community, and they can come
Yeah.
in and
Big
use you,
time.
even if it's only one day a week. If for people who can't afford regular membership, they can always come that one day a week, and for some people,
Hmm.
that's enough to feel connected and belonging. And that people who come one day a week might also be the people who are going to talk you up the most because they really value
Exactly.
having that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing. I also love what you said about going into places, just really connecting with people in the community, because I think you're quoting me telling listeners, you also are about to live in that community, right? You're going to be
Exactly.
living
And we're
just,
very
yeah,
excited.
you're going to be
Yeah.
living just a few blocks away. So you will be
Yeah.
shopping and drinking and hanging out and going places in that community. And so I think, for our listeners who live near, or even if you don't, you can still do this, but just go and be a patron of the places that are
Yeah,
nearby, and you'll make connections with the people who
exactly.
live and work there. And that's marketing, my friends. That's top of the
Hmm.
funnel awareness of getting people to know that you exist who currently don't. Good
Yeah,
for you, my friend. Good for you.
big time.
Yeah. So, let's close things out with what do you got coming up that you're excited about? What's on the horizon for Strength House that you're excited about?
So we just last month opened our barbell room. So we're
Mm,
kind of like, we basically, Strength House was this huge warehouse space that we cleaned up with like the help of our community.
yeah.
And we're opening in phases.
Mm,
So the first 2 months, it was just like one main area where like kind of everything took place. And then we've been working on the behind the scenes, behind this curtain. And now we have this open barbell area,
right.
and now there's more happening behind that curtain, and we're going to have a more expanded barbell area, um, just to like create a full-fledged gym. And we have some fun things happening with some Philly events. We have the Broad Street Run is coming up,
Yep.
and so that runs down Broad Street, and so our gym is like right off of Broad Street. If you don't know Philadelphia, Broad Street is the
Main north or south
main street,
artery. Yeah.
the main north to south. Yeah,
Yeah.
Philly's very grid. It's just
Hmm.
the main north to south. So we're gonna set up a huge cheering station, and we're gonna have like our DJ equipment. John and I both like dabble in DJing.
Yep.
So we're gonna set up a huge thing. We're gonna basically like throw a big party and invite whoever wants to come back to Strength House. Like have some beers. There are events happening along Passyunk, and we're going to do a lot of more community outreach through that. We just hosted a snatch workshop yesterday.
Right.
We're discovering that we really love the education side
Hmm.
of this, and so we're trying to set up some more workshops. We're trying to connect with doing workshops with like corporations or like hosting events. Like if you're having a bachelorette party, come on
Come
down.
on
We'll host
in.
an event for you.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to figure out like what other things we can do, and just fun events to connect with
Yeah.
our people, like movie nights and things like that. We want to make Strength House like a really fun space. And then start to bring more educational elements into it, and workshops and
Yeah.
things like that.
Good for
So
you.
that's our main focus right now.
Those
Yeah.
are exciting times, and I love the idea that you
Yeah.
had like a phased opening where you didn't have to have your whole space
Mhm.
completely done on day
Yeah.
one. I think that's brilliant for our listeners to take away. And I also love that
Yeah.
you're reusing that strategy of like there's already communities that exist out there. There are running
Hmm.
communities. There are local events. Those are communities that we can tap into, and just having a cheering station for a run is a perfect way to just tap into an existing thing
Exactly.
that brings thousands of people together in a given day, and make your space available like a community center to come and celebrate and gather. I think is
Yeah.
so brilliant.
Yeah.
So
And just show everyone
congratulations.
like
Yeah,
we're so fun.
we're a
Come
blast.
hang out with
We're a
us.
good
It's
time.
this fun during
Yeah.
class too.
Yeah, we can make you sweat, but we can also get a little turnt. We can
Yeah,
also
exactly.
party. Yeah. Good for you. I'm just so happy for you, Molly. Congratulations
Thank
to you and
you.
John for getting this space off the ground. And thanks for coming to share all your wisdom with our listeners on this podcast. And there's so many great takeaways. You all are real
Yeah.
pros, so I can't wait to see what happens next.
Whew,
How do
thank you. We're very
Yeah,
excited.
good. How do people find you and the Strength House on the internet if they want to follow you and learn more about your world? Where do they find you?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram, Strength House, Haus.
Hmm.
You can find us on there. We're all of our signups are through Somble. So if you just go to strengthhouse.com, it'll connect you to this amazing platform
Hmm.
called Somble. And that's how you can just learn about all of our workshops, learn about our classes. And we also, brain farting.
Well,
We
that's
also
great.
have,
I think
yeah,
Instagram, website. If
website.
y'all are in Philly and you want to
Yeah, look
go
us up on
visit,
Google.
yeah, go.
Google, you can find us. We've got a bunch of hilarious 5-star reviews.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're getting up there. So, yeah, look us up. Instagram is probably the best way to find us. That's where we put all of our stuff.
Yeah. Bravo, my friend. Thank you again for your
Yeah.
time. This was such a great conversation. Listeners, I hope you took a ton out of it. And listeners, thanks for listening. If you found this conversation valuable, leave us a 5-star review on this podcast everywhere you listen. And email me, michael@businessunicorns.com, and let me know who you want me to talk to next or what you want me to talk about. Thanks so much, Molly. It was a blast. And I'll have to have you back again, and we'll talk some more once the gym's been open for a year.
Yes.
We'll do it. Have a good one, my friend.
Bye.